If I have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, how much can I earn?
0 or several million in total.
Is it still worth starting on YouTube right now in 2025?
There's a tremendous reason for anyone interested to get on YouTube. Professional YouTubers say that haters are everything to us. The more hate you actually receive in the comments, the better it is, honestly. You now have the opportunity to start releasing videos in different languages using auto-dubbing.
Today in our studio we have Mikhail, co-founder of the YOOLA Media Network, which is covered by Forbes and discussed by top bloggers. YOOLA is an official YouTube partner and collaborates with celebrities like Nastya, Mr. Beast, and many other YouTube bloggers, whom I'm sure you watch every day.
We are proudly one of the global leaders in the YouTube industry, YOOLA Media Network.
They say that nowadays you can't make it on YouTube without millions, that all the spots are already taken. Whether that's true or not, today we're going to figure it out together with Mikhail Shaposhnikov.
Mikhail is the co-founder of YOOLA, one of the largest YouTube partner networks in the world. His company helps creators grow, protect their content, and monetize across billions of views.
Misha, hi. Misha is someone who has worked closely with Google and YouTube for many years. Tell us, why are you qualified to talk about this?
Well, first of all, a very warm hello to everyone.
Yes.
I'm the person who, together with my trusted friends and dedicated partners, founded a successful company, and we are indeed one of the world's leading entities in the YouTube industry, specifically the prominent media network known as YOOLA. So yes, I absolutely have the undeniable right to speak about YouTube, both as a seasoned specialist and as a top-tier expert in this particular field.
Listen, am I right in understanding that as a YouTube and Google partner, you have access to some internal features, certain knowledge, maybe requirements that ordinary people who just want to get on YouTube are far from having?
Well, that's absolutely and unequivocally true, because in the extensive work of our company's dedicated technical support team, which we meticulously provide for numerous YouTube bloggers, there are often some significant questions or complex issues that arise when we have to contact YouTube directly. With our highly efficient technical support, this process happens quite quickly and smoothly, and we are able to clarify all controversial issues and sometimes even effectively prove our points to YouTube.
Yes.
That in fact it is exactly like this and not otherwise, and there have indeed been such cases.
Cool. So what I really want right now is to make the viewers see why we can be here today talking about YouTube and why you, in particular, are such a valuable source of insight on this topic. Yes, and I'd also like to add on my part that we, as a podcast studio, Red Podcast Studio in Barcelona, invite you to come record podcasts with us, and not just podcasts, but all kinds of other videos as well. We're also actively trying to work with YouTube, develop our very own channels, podcasts, insightful interviews, and so on. And actually, we frequently consult with Misha a lot and consider him a truly super cool and knowledgeable expert in this particular field.
Thank you.
And that's precisely why we are here today. All right, let's truly get started. Do you genuinely think it's still possible to get started on YouTube in the year 2025? Is there any point?
I'd even put it another way, a more profound way. There's a truly huge and compelling reason to get on YouTube, even if you've never actually held a camera, never really picked up a phone, and never ever filmed anything at all. Why is this the case? Because if you're not actively present on YouTube, you are undoubtedly missing out on a very significant segment of the vast audience that might actually want to see you and your content. YouTube always supports new stars. That is everything that was done there since 2005, 2010, or even 2015. You probably can't even remember who those people were. For one simple reason, YouTube is constantly looking for new stars, supporting them, and giving them a boost. So if you had an old channel that you started and then subsequently abandoned, forget about it, and instead create a brand new channel to show YouTube, I'm here, I've arrived, here's my content, and it should and will be genuinely useful and truly interesting to people. If you prove to YouTube that you can consistently create it, YouTube starts throwing you around, and it truly doesn't matter whether you have money or not. What genuinely matters is the creative idea that you bring to people. If you do it cool and awesome, even just filming on your phone, YouTube can support you and give you traffic.
Yeah. How long does it give you that kind of trust credit?
It will definitely give it to you for the first few videos, and then it will carefully watch what happens with your video, how people react to it, whether they like or dislike it, whether they leave comments or not, at what specific point they leave. So after that, you need to work with YouTube's own powerful analytics, which are built in. And as a company, we've learned to work very effectively with these analytics. And when we recommend certain actions to a blogger, we base them on internal analytics. And if a blogger is connected to the YOOLA company, we can see the analytics from the inside. If a blogger is not directly connected to the YOOLA company, then as a seasoned expert, I can access their channel with the appropriate permission, thoroughly study its content, and then give the right and effective recommendation on what specific actions to take so that more people genuinely start watching them.
Listen, I'm going to really try to get some of those valuable recommendations out of you today, so we can genuinely get some significant value from you for absolutely free, not for any monetary exchange. If someone truly wants, they can certainly come to you for a detailed consultation, but this is intended as a special gift for those who are watching this particular video. Listen, I've heard that, for example, on popular platforms like YouTube, it's actually quite good for analytics to get both likes and dislikes equally. Is that truly accurate or not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a person takes action, maybe they didn't particularly like something, but YouTube meticulously records in its extensive database what the person truly experienced while watching the video. And you see, if someone genuinely comes in, watches the whole entire thing, doesn't like it at all, and gives it a clear dislike, they've still effectively done two important things. They watched the content and they took a specific action. And if they also leave some truly angry comment, something quite nasty, then actually professional YouTubers often say that haters are absolutely everything to us. The more hate you receive in your comments, the better even. The important thing, however, is just not to really react to that hate at all.
First, you will have a few initial sessions with a highly qualified psychotherapist, and then...
Or you should ideally have a dedicated manager who will effectively handle all the potentially angry comments and allow the creative blogger to fully focus on their artistic creativity instead of constantly dealing with the challenging task of how to appropriately respond to angry comments.
All right. So you say that YouTube truly gives beginner bloggers, beginner YouTubers some kind of significant and distinct advantage, right? It promotes their videos. What does that look like?
It can happen with the very first video. That is to say, you release a video, and if it's made properly, with an incredibly attractive and compelling thumbnail, this is actually something I frequently talk about in my consultations, and I sincerely hope that we'll be doing such valuable consultations together. And our valued viewers can always come to the dedicated Red Studio for comprehensive YouTube consultations, to professionally record their channel content, to creatively produce their very own video, and we'll be absolutely happy to provide assistance and help.
Yes. And you can actually help directly with promoting all of this, since you know how it works?
I can teach you precisely how to make your video content or your entire channel as popular as humanly possible and how to effectively promote it properly on YouTube. At the same time, if you meticulously create a video and it unfortunately doesn't get any views, that absolutely doesn't mean it's wasted content that necessarily needs to be deleted. Absolutely not, because YouTube now is essentially a kind of vast knowledge base, a comprehensive database of videos, and a rich repository of diverse content that at any given moment can truly take off and potentially get millions of views. I've had cases where someone filmed a video about, well, it was either a little person or a small boy at a disco. It's just a guy dancing or something like that, right? Just some random, completely throwaway video clip that doesn't really mean much or have any significant purpose. And it was just sitting there somewhere in the depths of his channel. A few years later, the channel owner comes to me and says, "Hey, urgently turn on Content ID, that is, copyright protection." My video has been widely and extensively spread throughout the entirety of South America, and it's currently getting tens of millions of views. He says, "I don't actually understand what's truly going on, but my content is being taken somewhere out there." Someone re-uploaded his video somewhere, and it ended up getting a huge number of views.
Did he manage to really monetize it?
He didn't manage to earn anything at all from that video, primarily because he never truly expected that this content could ever bring in any money. That's precisely why I always say, anything you do on YouTube can suddenly take off and potentially bring you fame, money, and popularity. So make absolutely sure you set up your channel properly, and then you'll certainly have a chance to become a more well-known, truly popular YouTuber.
How do you set up a YouTube channel the right way?
Creating a YouTube channel is actually very simple. Coming up with a truly great idea for your YouTube channel is not always so easy. because simply grabbing your phone and just walking down the street filming, that was a very recent trend when people would simply walk around and record the street scene. Yes, there's a nuance here. For example, in Spain, filming things like that is prohibited because personal privacy is protected by law, right? But you can come up with a way to film it. People even go out at night and film. The important thing is to film something creative, new, and interesting. You can take inspiration from your favorite blogger, transform their idea, and create something new that might just go viral at this very moment and bring in tons of views.
Listen, and from the perspective of proper channel settings or legal matters, how can you protect yourself from a situation where your content suddenly goes viral, but you don't get anything out of it?
You can't take someone else's work. First of all, you absolutely cannot use someone else's content on your channel without explicit permission, and you also cannot use someone else's music without proper authorization. There are special stock sites and extensive libraries where you can purchase video clips if you need to utilize something or acquire music. There are also dedicated music libraries available for licensing. At YOOLA, we provide all our valued partners with access to the extensive Epidemic Sound library so they can effectively protect themselves from challenging situations where someone is monetizing their content and hoping to earn money, but then a small snippet of music inadvertently appears in their video, and the monetization gets completely taken away. It's truly frustrating, really quite frustrating, but even top bloggers frequently run into this common issue. You know, back in 2012, when I first started truly learning about how YouTube actually works and its intricate systems, we were explicitly told that even if a car drives by with its window down and music playing loudly, and you happen to be filming your valuable content at that precise moment, the owner of the musical track playing in the car, the original musician or copyright holder, can legitimately claim your monetization, and there's absolutely nothing you can effectively do about it. It was like a cautionary story that I also used to frequently share. I told everyone I knew about this significant issue, and just recently my good friend, who has amassed 1.5 million dedicated subscribers and has been a professional blogger for a remarkable 15 years, wrote to me with a sense of urgency and said, "Misha, please help me. What should I do?" I said, "What happened?" My video just blew up and got 100,000 views. Like, I was hoping to make some money, but there was some music in the video and I didn't earn anything. I said, "So what happened?" He said, "A car drove past me." I said, "Guys..."
Just exactly like it says in the book.
Yeah, these textbook situations, they truly really do happen. So you just can't use someone else's stuff, and you always have to check what you're going to show people in your video.
A layman's question: if you end up with someone else's content in your video and your monetization gets taken away, does the person who claims it get that monetization?
Yes.
So I could have hundreds of thousands of views, but the musician would get the monetization.
If you get 150 million views, God willing, you won't earn a single penny from it.
Damn. Okay. All right. So let's say I've just recently started a brand new channel for myself, and I'm thinking about what kind of content to create. How many videos do I need to make? Or how much time should pass before I start seeing some initial results, so I can judge whether it's working or not?
That's a really tough question, because some bloggers manage to do it with their very first or second video. It all truly depends on the specific content, right? And for others, it might take 1.5 years or even 2 years. And most importantly, do you have the motivation, and will you have enough motivation to stick it out for those 2 years until monetization, or even until you reach something really significant and substantial? But I've seen cases where people release just a couple of videos, turn on monetization right away. 1,000 subscribers is the minimum, and 4,000 hours of watch time, right? Those are still the criteria for monetization, and that's it. If you reach that certain point, then after that you start making real money, sometimes even faster than you'd expect. If you put your soul into the content and later your money, your time, your passion and all your effort, and you truly decide, you fully accept it, like I want to be a YouTuber, I want to make even more money from this, then it all can really work out for you. But the main trick here is that if from the very start you're only trying to make money on YouTube, then it's simply never going to work at all.
Why is that exactly?
That's just how the fundamental laws of the universe seem to truly work. But if you consistently treat your creative work as a genuine hobby and try to share your deepest emotions with people, then that very enjoyable hobby can very easily turn into a significant income.
When you do it sincerely and with genuine effort,
for the soul, truly from your heart, from your authentic self to others, to all the dedicated viewers out there, then most likely you'll be able to genuinely earn the kind of significant money you've heard about successful YouTubers making much, much faster.
Listen, what about thoughtfully investing some significant money into developing the channel, like, I don't know, acquiring truly great visuals, hiring a highly skilled scriptwriter, professional editing, effective advertising on YouTube itself, and so on, you know?
That definitely shortens the overall wait time until monetization. Of course, if you have a dedicated and creative team that can handle all of that, it's much, much easier, because coming up with truly new and innovative ideas on your own is pretty tough. But when you have a capable team that can meticulously create the right script for YouTube, because promoting effectively on YouTube is really all about compelling storytelling that's deeply built into the video content itself, right? It's about having great visuals. So if you thoughtfully invest in this structure from the very start, you will effectively shorten the crucial time to monetization, and you will also have a much greater chance to truly break ahead much faster and in a more interesting and impactful way.
So let's put it this way. My sincere and genuine advice to those just starting out on YouTube is not to rush to make money as quickly as humanly possible, but rather to truly do what you genuinely love and passionately want to share with the world.
You need really great scripts and, in general, innovative ideas that maybe don't even exist on YouTube yet, or you need to simply transform what's already out there.
If an expert decides to upload a podcast or maybe a video onto YouTube, then what would you say are the 3 biggest mistakes, the most important ones, that he really needs to avoid in order for that video to turn out successful and actually reach the audience?
First of all, it's the crucial thumbnail image, which should genuinely entice people to watch your video content. Very often, 99% of aspiring beginner bloggers, enthusiastic podcasters, or really anyone who's actively present on YouTube, unfortunately don't pay sufficient attention to the fundamental fact that the thumbnail is absolutely essential for effectively attracting viewers to their valuable content. Well, imagine you have some valuable information, you've effectively entered a search query, and now you have a whole extensive feed of content you could potentially watch. How do you then choose what to watch from all of these options?
You know, I'm sitting here thinking about it now. I really do genuinely choose videos based on their appealing thumbnail, not the actual title or the descriptive text underneath.
Exactly. We're all human, and we're used to looking at things that are beautiful, bright, and attractive, right? The first mistake to avoid is neglecting the preview image. You really should invest in it. It's not that expensive. Even if you're ordering it, you just need to order from professionals who actually know what YouTube is about. Often, people simply don't even understand how to design images. They add all sorts of little details, decorate, color things in, and what you end up with is a mess, right? You need to avoid that. You need to do things properly, to the point. Look at how the professionals on YouTube do it. The ones who get millions of views, not even subscribers, but millions of views. Yes, this is the first thing. The second common mistake, avoiding the wrong script or an incorrect script in the video itself. The first few seconds are the eye-catching moments of the video itself. Yes? This is a kind of short mini trailer. Teaser for this video, right? So that a person would come in, see the most striking moment and say, "Oh, that's cool! I'd like to see what those guys are talking about." Yes? And the third point I would highlight for podcasters is to choose well-known personalities or celebrities who are interesting to millions of viewers. Because unfortunately, if you're talking to a complete no-name, sorry to put it that way, but that's really how it sounds, then people just don't understand who this person is or why a viewer should even bother to watch that video. So try, whenever you can, to choose as your guests or opponents on the podcast the more well-known people, the ones who can actually be interesting to a much larger audience.
So how do you negotiate with them, with these people?
Again, you truly need a dedicated and capable team that can comprehensively cover the entire extensive range of these crucial services, including expert negotiation, and also effectively promoting your efforts on various social media platforms. In other words, you become popular, and when your manager can reach out to any celebrity, there's a higher chance the celebrity will respond to an invitation like, "Let's have a conversation."
It's a truly vicious circle. You really need to become popular in order to bring popular and influential people onto your blog, your vlog, and they will then bring you even more popularity.
Unfortunately, that's how it is.
Yeah. So how exactly can you truly speed up this entire process? Where is the quickest, most efficient shortcut? How do you shorten the path?
I honestly don't know. For every single project, you truly need to sit down and meticulously think through the entire strategic approach. You absolutely cannot just randomly say, I know a magic pill, just do this one thing, and you will undoubtedly succeed. No, that simply doesn't work on YouTube, because it's either already been thoroughly done, or it hasn't quite reached that particular point yet. And you can certainly develop that specific magic pill strategically for a particular channel.
It will work in this case and at that exact time?
And it will most certainly indeed work, absolutely. Because, well, it's impossible. I can tell you how it used to work. But now, YouTube's algorithms are constantly breaking and changing again in order to find new stars, so that the old stars don't rise too high and give way to the newcomers.
Listen, but what if I am an old star, an old YouTube star? Does that truly mean I have to start a brand new channel if I want to continue to grow? So it turns out it will be quite hard for me to keep on growing.
No, you just need to thoughtfully transform your existing content and your entire channel, always keeping a close eye on emerging trends, carefully observing what's currently happening, and then adapt to the new realities and the various new social networks. Use shorts, use long-form videos, and create some mixes. In other words, keep experimenting right on YouTube itself.
Here's a question. Are there any topics or niches that just aren't worth pursuing on YouTube anymore? Ones that have basically run their course? You know, like how unboxing kids' toys used to be popular or something like that? You know, things like that. Is there anything that's just completely over now?
On YouTube, you can't do what is prohibited by YouTube itself. Again, history is indeed cyclical, and virtually everything that was once widely popular can certainly become popular once again. So it is highly advisable to avoid niches that are explicitly banned on YouTube, because what is strictly forbidden will, in all likelihood, never be genuinely allowed. For example, just very recently, there was a notable case where a good friend of mine, who was diligently talking about the significant dangers of alcohol consumption on his personal blog, unfortunately got flagged by YouTube's automated algorithm, which erroneously decided he was actively promoting alcohol and consequently took away his entire monetization privileges. He wasn't penalized, there just wasn't any monetization. We then had to painstakingly prove to YouTube, like, guys, look, it's actually the complete opposite. The video is fundamentally about how alcohol is truly harmful, not at all promoting it. We successfully managed to do it, we absolutely did. But it still took several agonizing days. And this unfortunate situation happened right at the very start of the video's initial release, when the maximum possible number of eager viewers are watching. So basically, he just lost monetization for only 2 days. It was just frustrating. Pranks are banned on YouTube, right? Anything that's related to anything dangerous for life, things of that nature will simply be, well, banned on YouTube. And even if you end up getting millions of views there, you still might, quite possibly, not make any real money from it. So here's my advice. Whatever it is that you truly enjoy doing yourself, first check whether you can actually do that on YouTube or not, and then just go for it.
That's great. If, for example, I currently run an Instagram account and I happen to have a certain number of dedicated followers, let's say around 500 followers on Instagram, should I then consider starting and launching a brand new YouTube channel?
You should, because the Instagram audience does not overlap at all with the viewers and subscribers on YouTube. According to comprehensive statistics and recent data, YouTube has consistently held the leading position for the past several years and still significantly surpasses both Instagram and TikTok in terms of overall viewership and engagement. YouTube also features a very popular short-form video format called Shorts, where people can easily swipe through and watch, yes, short, concise and entertaining videos. And unfortunately, there's no correlation here either. Just because you have millions of views on shorts doesn't mean you'll have millions of views on long-form videos. No. There are people who just constantly watch shorts.
You know, kids these days watch shorts on YouTube. For example, my daughter sits and watches only shorts.
You know, according to some recent statistics, I just recently read some rather interesting YouTube analytics data, actually. Kids, when they wake up in the morning and don't have to go to school, turn on YouTube and watch content that interests them. So YouTube is widely watched by both the younger and older generations, which is actually very interesting and quite beneficial for companies that want to effectively sell their services and reach their adult audience. The older generation predominantly doesn't use Instagram or TikTok, they're truly on YouTube, and this can be leveraged very effectively. So it doesn't matter how many followers you have on Instagram, whether you know how to run social media or not. If you simply pick up a camera and create genuinely interesting, high-quality content for people, it can undoubtedly bring you tremendous and significant benefits.
Okay, that's really very good to know indeed. Let's talk about money.
Let's do it.
If I have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, how much can I earn?
0 or even several million, for example.
What does it depend on?
It really depends on where your viewers are located geographically.
Right.
The number of subscribers does not equal the number of views, for one simple reason. We're all people who watch content on different devices, right? Not everyone subscribes. Some people just stumble upon your video by accident. And if you have indeed made your video correctly, if you have truly called upon the viewer to subscribe in the most effective way, then they would have subscribed. However, mostly, a significant 50% of viewers watch without actually subscribing. So even if you currently have 1,000 dedicated subscribers, you could potentially have millions of views. Or maybe you have 1.5 million subscribers and 5,000 views on each video that you release once a month, respectively. This is 0, and you do not make money on your content. That is, it all truly depends on how much people actually watch you.
Yes. Reasonable monetization, from what specific number of views does it typically start to become effective and noticeable?
Sane. I'll put it this way. If your channel's viewers are primarily located in America, England, or Germany, and perhaps even Norway, then you will generally receive the maximum possible amount of money per 1,000 views, which is highly beneficial.
How much is that?
Somewhere between $10 and $15 per 1,000 views. There are also gradations between ad views and non-ad views. So basically, it's a combination of everything, right? Well, just to make it easier to understand, basically, the entire Western world is using YouTube first and foremost as a huge advertising platform. And that means if your channel pulls in an audience that's actually watching from Western countries, then you've got monetization, and you'll be getting the maximum possible profit out of it. I think I mentioned this to you the last time we talked, didn't I? That little story when a guy came to see us, he already had about 1 million subscribers, and he was originally from Chisinau, right? He had 1 million subscribers and was earning about $800 a month. Well, that was a long time ago. It doesn't really matter. And he asked, so what should I do? And we suggested to him, why don't you make English, German, and Spanish channels and just reach a different audience? We translated all of his content and then launched it on 3 separate channels, on 3 distinct channels. The most popular and successful channel was the German one. And there, where he had 200,000 subscribers, which he gained very quickly because the content was truly interesting, he started earning $20,000.
Not bad.
$1,800,000, 200,000, 20,000. So it all truly depends on what specific language you speak and which particular audience finds your content genuinely interesting. The simplest and most effective thing is to create content primarily in English so that the whole wide world can watch you.
Or in Spanish or Chinese.
And this is precisely where we come to the important topic of AI dubbing and everything related to its various aspects.
So how exactly does it work now? What precisely should you do to effectively distribute your valuable content in many different languages across various countries around the globe?
Yeah, we actually discussed this particular topic approximately 6 months ago, didn't we? At that specific time, I clearly stated that there are indeed 7 distinct languages that YouTube is currently actively promoting and supporting for its innovative auto-dubbing feature. And if you do not have, if you are not connected to a multi-channel network, MCN, but would genuinely like to have this particular feature, you can even request it directly from YouTube right now. However, in the vast majority of cases, it is now enabled automatically depending on the specific country, right? So you now have the excellent opportunity to start releasing your videos in many different languages by accurately translating your existing content through some advanced third-party AI dubbing services. Major media networks currently have the impressive ability to add up to about 100 languages to your video content right away. So, we have many advanced features, and virtually any world language that currently exists can be readily added by YouTube if you are connected to a prominent media network like YOOLA. Not all media networks actually use this, though. We use it. But then the question comes up, how can I even reach that audience if, let's say, I'm speaking there in Russian? You need to come up with some kind of mechanism where on the screen you won't actually have any Russian at all. This is first and foremost, because the Russian language now, unfortunately, is just a red rag for the entire world, yes. That's why it is quite dangerous. But if you simply create some kind of emotional impact in the visual image, then a viewer who comes in, say, from an English-speaking country, will immediately see the title and description in English, click on the video, and instantly hear their own native language. Again, if it is done correctly, properly edited, and well-produced, this approach can be very effective and truly impactful. Most likely, if you have a significant number of dubbed videos on your channel, then a viewer from the local country, upon visiting your channel, will undoubtedly see the content in their native language. If he truly likes the content, he'll indeed want to see what else you have. He goes over, checks it out, and subscribes to your channel.
So, to avoid confusing the viewer, it turns out that you need to translate all of your content in this particular way.
Yes.
Do dubbing.
Ideally, yes. Now, there are these systems like HeyGen that allow you to do this, which you also use, right? Do you have a monthly subscription? Well, okay, pay the fee and translate everything at once, and then just add new content gradually.
You mentioned 7 languages that YouTube focuses on, is that right? Which languages are those?
The most widely spoken and popular languages in the world include English, French, German, Italian, I believe, and Japanese.
Yeah.
And again, since I personally have the absolute maximum possible number of languages added, which is approximately 100, I cannot precisely determine which specific languages YouTube actually translates for its users.
Have you already had successful and positive experiences with enabling dubbing services for various channels that truly took off and gained significant traction in another language or different linguistic markets?
Yes, I have indeed. I cannot say for certain, but it is widely known that the most famous and influential YouTuber in the entire world, Mr. Beast, utilizes precisely this very system and is able to immediately reach diverse languages and local countries across the globe. So, it works. You just need to use it correctly.
How do you use it correctly? How do you properly use auto-dubbing? Not auto-dubbing. How do you properly use dubbing?
Dubbing. First of all, when you upload your video content to a system like HeyGen, you need to make necessary corrections and adjustments. Furthermore, you should fully understand the specific language you have translated into, because it does not always accurately translate highly specialized technical terms, or most likely, it can mess up either the precise terminology or the intended emotion. You might simply not catch the humor at all, you know? And then in the end, you'll be getting something completely different from what you really expected or wanted to have. And I actually once had this one truly awful, absolutely terrible case when a few unchecked videos later on created nothing but outrage, or at best this kind of total confusion. Like, what on earth is this you've been saying here, huh?
At least you got some comments.
At least some comments, yeah. At the very same time, what we truly needed to do, we're actively running a dedicated gaming channel with my good friend here. We absolutely needed to make it so that the discerning viewer who was watching really couldn't quite tell what specific language the main blogger was actually speaking. Was it English or Russian, right? And we managed to pull it off.
I can confirm that.
Our team thought about it for a long time, or maybe not that long, but it didn't really matter. But you did think about it and it was interesting. Yeah. But an absolutely important factor is to carefully check what exactly the artificial intelligence has accurately translated.
What else is important when setting this up, when configuring dubbing for your videos? As far as I understand, you can also make the title in different languages, right?
That's entirely possible. Well, that's basically a built-in feature. As soon as you gain the ability to add additional languages, you immediately get the inherent option to add titles and descriptions in the specific language in which you're launching the audio track. And at the same time, when a viewer from a local country visits your video, they don't need to switch between languages. They'll immediately hear their native language, see the title and description in their language, and experience it all right away. So that is certainly enough for a local viewer to begin watching you. After that initial engagement, you then have the distinct possibility of making a significant mistake, primarily because you might not accurately match the specific mentality of that particular viewer. For example, you might talk about some country or city that isn't interesting to them, and they just think, "What? Who are you guys?" They click away and leave. And it can even end up causing you harm in the process, hurting you in the very same way. That's why, right from the start, you really need to think it all through carefully, what exactly you're going to use it for, and also how you're going to twist and turn your way out of that kind of situation if it ever happens. Additionally, you will begin to receive comments in a variety of different languages from around the world.
Yes, what comments in different languages when dubbing?
Yes. That's the interesting part, because the channel owner can reply with artificial intelligence or just with transliteration, basically in any language at all, and in that way still keep up some kind of communication with those viewers. But when the viewer actually comes in and opens the page, what he sees in the comments is just total mess of different things thrown together. Well, for now, it's impossible to separate one from the other. It's interesting when you go to a channel and there are just Russian, English, German comments pouring in from all over the world.
Listen, that's quite interesting because, for example, on Google Reviews, when you actually go there, the comments are automatically and conveniently translated for you. Well, these reviews are automatically translated into the language your device is set to. Why don't they do the same thing on YouTube?
They'll probably just do it.
They will.
Right now, currently, a huge number of systems are switching to auto-dubbing comments such as these days. It works.
In your experience, usually, let's get back to the topic of money. Do people generally make a living from direct monetization or from selling something on the YouTube platform?
Both, actually. I'll explain why that is so. And there are many bloggers who are primarily focused on and meticulously create their engaging content purely for entertainment purposes. And in that particular case, they typically live off of YouTube monetization, which includes ad revenue, plus various advertising projects that they thoughtfully take on for their specific channel. They often conduct detailed reviews or even the same popular unboxings, which are essentially advertising projects. It could also be subtle product placement strategically positioned in the background, and it doesn't necessarily have to be explicitly shown on screen for it to be effective, right? And then there are people who build up their content with the specific goal of attracting potential clients. And in that case, it really doesn't matter how many subscribers you've got or how many total views you can show. What truly matters is that your content actually reaches the person who could become your potential client. I know of cases where a channel with up to 1,000 truly dedicated subscribers could earn up to $100,000 for one simple reason. People advertise and talk about their own actual product in such a significant way that almost every viewer clicks through and engages with their offerings. It's also important here to include a link to your product, website, social media, or, for example, a group on social networks. For the viewer to see this link, it should be in the description, right at the top, in the very first line. Then the viewer can click through and potentially become your client. And after that, everything depends on the price at which you sell your product. I know of a specific case where a particular company specializing in the relocation of programmers, or indeed anyone really, has a dedicated channel that is focused specifically and exclusively on this very important topic. And then the agency's comprehensive services cost $8,000, right?
Not bad.
So it doesn't matter how many views they get. If a viewer lands on their channel and becomes a client, that's a whole different kind of income.
And they saw their professionalism, and it turns out that...
Of course, you can see it right away. Because when you see an advertisement on Google and a website, you can't really tell who these people truly are. Maybe you just won't click with them. There's no real spark, and you won't trust that particular person. But here you clearly see this is the actual face of the company.
You listen to them a while.
Listen, yes, to how it all works, how everything happens. There might even be some truly real and authentic comments from actual people who have already been to these specific places, right?
What do you truly think? Do you have a specific number in mind? How much time or a substantial amount of money do you actually need to invest in a particular channel before it genuinely starts generating consistent revenue?
Time. We've already started talking about this. Time is the most important factor. So you really need to keep in mind that if you truly want to release your own content on YouTube, first of all, discipline is absolutely key. That means having a consistent release schedule, consistently working so that on the same day, whether it's Sunday, Friday, it truly doesn't matter, you must release a video. So unwavering consistency is the very first thing you need to establish on YouTube. In other words, it's a significant investment of your valuable time. And then, do you have the necessary money for this important investment? It's time. If you're alone and don't have a dedicated team, you have to invest significant time in filming, editing, and selecting appropriate music. Then you need to thoroughly review everything and organize it properly, perhaps even needing to re-edit it. For many YouTubers, this takes hours. So a person wakes up in the morning, comes up with some script, and then films everything. Now imagine how long one person can keep doing this.
I know.
You can shorten this time if you immediately hire a ready-made, dedicated team that's truly focused on making your life much easier. You come in, and there's the lighting, the cameras, the table, the microphone, all set up, and you can start broadcasting right away. You're basically cutting down that time by putting money into it. And that's exactly why it's impossible to say how much money you would actually need in order to make it blow up. In the past, that's how they used to promote kids' content. Up until the precise point in time when it all truly got shut down and a significant lot of things were completely banned, people universally used to do the following. They'd meticulously release a new video, then generously pump up to $5,000 actual dollars into Google Ads, and then they'd consistently get truly huge financial returns, tens of thousands of dollars back, often even more. That's how channels were boosted.
That won't just work right now?
No.
Why not?
It won't actually work now because the algorithms have significantly changed, you see. In fact, YouTube doesn't really like it when you try to promote yourself with money, And you can indeed run advertisements directly on YouTube. So it's certainly not considered cheating. You're actually buying advertisements and effectively promoting your very own video content on YouTube. However, there is another significant side to the coin. The next step is for YouTube to wait for you to put in the next round of money so that you can also promote yourself. And that's precisely why the most truly interesting, the very best thing, is the organic content that you simply cannot afford to buy. But instead, you must effectively attract to your video content.
Yes. Listen, and here's something else about advertising. If yes, we talk about promotion, is there a difference between promoting your content on Google and promoting it directly on YouTube as separate platforms?
You're talking about the same thing. Google is YouTube. And when you are on YouTube or within Google, specifically in Google AdWords, you have the ability to put your money into classic advertising
in the search results.
In the search results, yes, or you launch a video that will be shown directly on YouTube as pre-rolls, mid-rolls, or post-rolls. So it's the same thing.
Is it really worth promoting just the video itself separately, for example, in this context? For instance, when you've just launched your channel and you have some kind of thumbnail with a description of what you're doing here, is it worth promoting this separately?
I would promote specifically the channel trailer, the one about who you are, what you do, and why you're releasing this content. Just so it appears in advertisements, not with a particularly large budget, but so it genuinely gets some exposure here and there. But in any case, it is generally advisable to try to avoid relying solely on this particular promotion mechanism.
What are the current requirements to enable monetization?
It's still 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time for your valuable content. 4,000 hours of watch time is a significant amount. That's quite a lot, isn't it? They say that they might potentially lower it a little bit or cut something down, but so far that hasn't actually happened.
And you can easily reach those numbers by running ads on this particular video or on these specific videos.
In theory, you can, but it's still considerably better and more effective to actively promote your content through various popular social networks by leveraging your personal connections and friends, or by engaging with and posting in specialized online communities and groups that are specifically dedicated to your unique content. Because it's very important, like we started talking about, even dislikes have a significant impact, right? If you spread your video all over the vast internet, but not to your specific target audience, you will just get people clicking on your video. Let's say, for example, you meticulously made a really cool and eye-catching thumbnail and then shared it absolutely everywhere online, hoping for maximum reach. Your video content, what exactly is going to happen? A viewer who isn't truly your channel's primary target audience might randomly click, perhaps thinking, what exactly is this all about? They click, find they don't particularly like it, and then quickly close the video. The watch time is basically minimal. They simply didn't take any decisive action, so consequently you just end up with someone who, quite by accident, actually hurts your channel significantly. And what if 100,000 people like that come to your video? Well, sure, you'll be happy. 100,000 people watched your video, but what happens next?
And your stats are ruined.
And your channel's statistics are completely ruined. You've effectively taken yourself out of YouTube's crucial algorithms, right? That's precisely why the most important thing is when you thoughtfully share your video on various social networks within relevant groups or wherever else, but specifically within your precise target audience, so you can reach exactly those particular people who will genuinely be interested in your video and who will then take the necessary and desired action.
How does YouTube actually decide which specific videos to prominently promote and which ones to effectively bury from view?
Again, it all comes down to people's actions. So, if YouTube's algorithms truly see that this video is genuinely interesting to people, that it consistently provides significant educational or artistic value, and the person isn't actively spreading any negativity, right? And people truly like it, YouTube will be much more eager to pick you up and start promoting you more widely. It's gonna push you into all sorts of posts that are meant exactly for your target audience. Yeah, into the recommendations, right? And it's going to give you a huge, really massive flow of traffic. And that, in fact, is the real skill and the special trick of YouTubers who want to climb right up there, straight to the very top. Make content for real people, win over YouTube itself, and then it will be the one to hand you the traffic you're looking for.
What key parameters should you really pay close attention to in order to effectively appeal to YouTube?
Properly edited storytelling. In other words, there's a very specific algorithm we can truly teach for how to structure the video itself correctly. Length, of course, also affects all of this. You shouldn't make videos that are hours long if you're just starting out.
Unless you're Yuri Dad.
I wanted to avoid saying that, but okay.
I'm very sorry about that.
Yeah, so just always really start very small. And then, as you continue to go, learn from your inevitable mistakes and keep developing your skills. Because if you start out by dropping a half-hour video right away, your analytical stats will be truly impossible to analyze, since the graph will look exactly like this. People click in, and then it immediately drops to zero. At what second, where, what happened? It's really hard to figure out, so you should develop your content gradually. Perhaps make a 10-minute video, and then carefully observe what happens and how your audience reacts. Study the analytics. So from day one, don't just simply upload a video and then patiently sit around waiting for something significant to happen, like
monetization.
Monetization, yeah, I've become a great YouTuber. No. The trick here is that you actually go inside and start analyzing what exactly happened, at what second the viewer dropped out, and why it happened. They even show you these nice graphs, what countries they came from, at what time they were watching. So you can really dig out a whole lot of information there, and all of it turns out to be extremely useful for studying and learning.
There's a rumor that YouTube favors certain niches and supposedly promotes them manually, while it deliberately suppresses others. Is that true?
No, it all depends. Some trends just take off right now and everyone starts talking about them, making videos about them. But all of that is so fleeting. It's just that if some hype starts, something really crazy, and everyone begins making videos about it, then the views skyrocket. But if you truly want to build your content around fleeting hype, be prepared that by the second or even third video, it will all inevitably come to an abrupt end, and you'll quickly run out of fresh ideas for what to film next, okay? So you successfully brought people in with a trending topic, but then you don't know
how to keep them.
That's why it's so important when a person thinks everything through down to the smallest detail. You start with a strategy and then you follow up with tactics.
What about boosting views on YouTube? Is it entirely okay to actually use that particular item? And how exactly does it truly work?
Unfortunately, it works, but against the YouTuber. There are ways to artificially boost all of this. But YouTube today is certainly not the YouTube of 2010 or even 2013, right? Back then, you could easily boost views and it was relatively painless, and people would just see millions of views on their videos, which was quite common and a significant achievement. But that's been forbidden for a long time now. Even if you somehow manage to artificially boost something, YouTube will eventually deduct it. It would be really upsetting if maybe you even spent money on it, someone promised you something, boosted your numbers, and then it all gets wiped out. And YouTube even puts you in some kind of ban for using artificial boosting. And if you also have active monetization and some clever hacker comes up with a deceptive scheme for you and tells you it's completely safe and utterly painless, even a sophisticated clicker for ads, then be prepared to get permanently banned from the platform, and perhaps even the money you have genuinely earned. YouTube just won't give it to you, ever. That's precisely why anything related to artificial boosting or the use of bots is strictly prohibited on YouTube. I absolutely do not recommend this practice to anyone, neither aspiring beginners nor even well-established and popular bloggers.
Have you ever seen channels that were shut down or burned out because of bots or other artificial boosting, such as fake engagement?
Of course I have. I've seen channels that, in their very beginning, back when they were just experimenting and trying to grow, were using all sorts of bots and artificial boosts. They had their monetization taken away, and then they grew into million subscriber channels without monetization. That happens too. I've seen over the entire course of my professional career, we've worked with about, well, 1 million dedicated bloggers and popular YouTube channels. So I can talk about these things, though I won't specify who or what exactly. Just trust me on this, as this is the undeniable reality of the situation. I personally know a particular blogger who unfortunately messed up quite significantly right at the very beginning of their journey. And no matter what he does, it's just impossible for him to clear his name now. And when people tell me about this particular blogger, saying how truly great he is, how incredibly cool, what an absolute success he has become, I say, but he doesn't have any monetization, and he never ever will. And why exactly is that the case? Because right at the very start, he did some pretty bad things, and YouTube permanently blocked him.
That's really, truly unfortunate. Are there cases when YouTube really forgives artificial boosting?
Artificial boosts will be deducted. Even if you currently see them displayed on your counter right now, they will certainly be removed at a later time. And besides, just imagine this scenario. You have launched some kind of bot, and now your video has accumulated 1 million views. With that significant million views, there should logically be a certain proportionate number of likes, dislikes, and also comments. Because otherwise, how exactly does that make any sense at all? Even if you artificially boost 100,000 views, but you only have 5 comments. People are smart, they notice everything and understand what's going on. And YouTube itself understands what's going on, so it shuts all of that down.
So my friends, let's always act honestly and truly take the honest path. There are absolutely no other options. What percentage of aspiring YouTubers fail at the very beginning of their journey and give up?
99%.
Why?
They lack motivation. Again, we are quite essentially talking about precisely the same thing, you know? Time is the most important, the most crucial factor for a YouTuber. It's time. You consistently create your content, regularly uploading it, and it is only the consistent regularity of your uploads, and the longer you diligently keep at it, that at some point, YouTube will undoubtedly notice you, pick you up, and subsequently give you the substantial number of views, and consequently the financial compensation you truly deserve.
How regularly should you be uploading new content to YouTube? How often should you be doing this?
Well, for a beginner blogger, publishing content once every 2 weeks is a good starting point, and then you can gradually move to publishing once a week.
Is that enough?
That's truly enough for you to meticulously prepare good content, to think it through. Not just spit it out because you felt like it, but to make it genuinely high quality, a solid script, carefully filming, putting everything together, creating it, and then consistently releasing your content once a week. If you can or are truly ready, or if you're a dedicated gaming blogger who can just consistently crank out engaging content by simply sitting and playing from early morning till late at night, right? Cut it up and upload it. Again, it all depends on how long you can keep it up. I know people who have been doing this for decades, YouTube since 2005, right? Roughly speaking, that's 20 years. I know someone who has been playing the same games for 15 years. Every day, every 2 or 3 days, he releases something, plays. Even people like that just burn out, They burn out, just the same action over and over again in the very same game. And it's actually pretty tough.
What kinds of formats actually work the best when it comes to engaging audience?
I would rephrase your question to be more specific. Do short videos and long videos perform equally well on the YouTube platform? Consider the format. There are many content creators who only make shorts and successfully get millions of views and gain millions of subscribers just from their shorts. By the way, there are ads in shorts too. And again, it all truly depends on precisely who is watching you. I know a compelling story where someone meticulously made shorts, and for a significant 15 million views from a primarily American audience, this particular blogger only earned a mere $600. That is certainly not much at all. But let's not forget, people often just quickly swipe through and...
Well, there probably wasn't a lot of effort put into making that shorts.
Yeah. Now, other bloggers frequently release long-form videos. These long videos are generally considered the best for monetization, right? What can a blogger get? In a long video, you can easily insert several ad breaks. YouTube officially allows this practice to be done. And you can earn the maximum amount of money there. It all depends on who watches you, from which countries, like we discussed. So, whatever is closer to you, and whatever you find more interesting to film, that's what you should do on YouTube. If you want to make long formats, a long format is from 3 minutes and up, go ahead, create your own videos. Do you want to make reels and shorts just like on TikTok and Instagram? Yes, go ahead. You will certainly have your very own dedicated audience and high-quality content as well, and it doesn't matter what format you start your channel with.
Listen, is it more effective to stick to one type of content on a channel or to mix things up?
You just need to truly understand your target audience and then diligently experiment. If your audience responds exceptionally well to a certain format or style of content, but then doesn't really react positively to another one, right? Well, after the second video, you can basically stop using a particular format if it's clearly not working out for you. Perhaps it simply isn't particularly interesting to your specific audience. So a truly top-level blogger is fundamentally defined by precisely how well they can genuinely work with their dedicated audience and, crucially, who their primary target audience actually is. And he, while diligently creating content specifically for her, must always thoughtfully consider their needs.
Yes.
Understand? If the audience is not interested in your content or your format, well, you will lose the channel, the viewers, the monetization, everything.
Yes, indeed.
Therefore, experiments truly need to be carried out very carefully while thoroughly studying the detailed analytics of what is actually happening.
So, after how long can you tell that a format isn't working?
If you've been consistently running your YouTube channel for a long period of time, you will notice it right away. What's happening? If you're a beginner blogger, experimenting will simply help you to find the specific type of content that people are actually interested in and truly want to read.
Yeah. Well, for example, you might strategically post a comprehensive long video, then a moderately paced medium-length video, and also include a few concise and engaging shorts. If you see that the medium-length video isn't getting any views and then you post another one, and after that, can you already say that it's not working?
No.
Right?
No. I'm actually very much in favor of truly long-form content, especially when a person can fully tell the complete depth of the compelling story they genuinely want to share with their engaged audience. That's precisely why you can effectively make shorts from these longer, more comprehensive videos. But here, you absolutely shouldn't forget that in this particular case, the shorts will primarily serve as an effective advertisement for the main, more extensive video. Although, with shorts, people usually don't go on to watch the long videos, most likely because the short is made incorrectly and doesn't encourage viewers to check out the main video. People don't quite get it. Okay, that's just a snippet, but what comes next? Where's the second part, or where's the main part of this video?
So right now we're going to cut this up, this very video, into a set of shorts, and then we'll also record this little insert that says, follow the link in the description to watch the full video in its entirety.
Something quite like that.
Okay, should you indeed cut every podcast or every long video into shorts?
Interesting, cool moments, yes. That will also have its own audience. This could also potentially and significantly encourage new subscriptions and further drive interested viewers to the main full-length video. Why not? So, again, on YouTube, since there are essentially two distinct formats, long and short, use both formats and you'll get your own dedicated viewers.
Listen, there's an opinion that podcasts should ideally have a separate channel, primarily because people often come in and then get confused if they truly want to watch long-form content, such as a full podcast episode, and that's precisely what they genuinely want to see. But then, if you start releasing short videos as well, or if you start putting out some other type of content, I've seen recommendations to keep a podcast on a completely separate channel. Is that true or not?
It's quite complicated. I honestly have absolutely no idea how to adequately and comprehensively answer that particular question because it all depends on who your target audience is.
Listen, it's hard for me to imagine that. Things like monetization and subscriber numbers. How will you split that across different channels?
You have the ability to create several distinct channels for specific projects. So, for example, if you truly love traveling, absolutely everything related to your travel experiences and adventures goes on one dedicated channel, and on another separate channel, you can feature all your engaging podcasts. Furthermore, YouTube conveniently allows you to highlight particularly interesting and noteworthy channels in a specially designated separate section, making them more discoverable. You can feature your own channels there, and whenever you release a video, there has to be something in it that actually calls on the viewers to subscribe and to keep watching certain kinds of channels. And the very simplest way to do it is this. Right at the very beginning, you say something like, well, today we're going to talk about traveling, about the Camino de Santiago, how I set out on that road and how, I didn't quite make it all the way there, something along those lines. Again, the very beginning of the video is the most important and truly interesting part, when you effectively hook the audience with what's coming next. What exactly will happen in this particular video? And you say, on this channel, I consistently release engaging podcasts. On this channel, I thoroughly talk about various culinary topics. So please go ahead and subscribe if you are genuinely interested. and you spread your valuable content across various channels, linking them together into a single cohesive chain. They're all intricately cross-linked. You have prominent links to these channels everywhere, and you end up with an entire network of channels that start boosting each other significantly.
Not bad. That's a great strategy.
Come to me, please.
You can tell even more stories, yes. So we talked about dubbing, but there is also the story with avatars. How does YouTube feel about avatars?
Badly.
Yes.
That is to say, now, yes, you and I were indeed talking approximately 6 months ago, yes, about the concept of auto-dubbing and also about digital avatars in general. I said then that YouTube would most likely demonetize all of this, from the word demon, right? Yes, meaning they won't monetize content created with artificial intelligence. It has finally arrived. Now dubbing, even auto-dubbing, is officially allowed, because YouTube already has that feature built right inside the platform. Go ahead, it's a way to reach a new audience.
But it's still unique content, isn't it?
Absolutely. Video content, specifically video content, is truly unique. But if you create your content using artificial intelligence, perhaps with an AI-generated avatar, then YouTube, first of all, initially required you to put a clear label stating that it was indeed created by AI, and importantly, it could still be monetized. Now it's no longer possible to monetize this. YouTube tracks this very simply and easily because what is the main and largest neural network that is currently in existence and widely utilized? YouTube. For approximately 20 years, they have been consistently moving towards studying content by developing sophisticated neural networks. How all of this interacts, and we've ended up with a huge, in fact, the largest neural network in existence, YouTube, which comprehensively determines everything, meticulously sees everything, and unfortunately, it is now very, very significantly negative towards any content created with the assistance of artificial intelligence.
In general, it's not worth investing in avatars.
Monetization. Again, by the way, we started talking about how you can effectively monetize your valuable content on YouTube and how you can also attract new and potential clients. If you are looking to attract clients, then go right ahead. This specific content will not be blocked by YouTube, but it will not be monetized in any way. But can it still bring you clients?
You can also, for example, record lessons using avatars.
So there are different levels of monetization, which means if you want to connect with real people, normal people, then you do it by making this kind of live action content with real filming. But if what you want is simply to get clients and you're not really planning, you don't even have the idea of earning money directly from YouTube monetization, then an avatar can actually help you do exactly that. It makes life easier, but it's just a different story and a different path of development on YouTube.
Which is now being regulated overall? Or is it faster to grow, YouTube or TikTok?
Can you truly do both at precisely the same time? The single most important thing, without a doubt, is the high-quality content you meticulously create. Whether it's specifically for YouTube or perhaps TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or indeed any other digital platform available today, you should simply start consistently posting your valuable content. If you've already diligently put in the significant effort and professionally shot truly high-quality content, then it genuinely doesn't matter at all where you ultimately choose to publish it. Yes, it's possible that the speed at which your audience grows will be completely different. On YouTube, it might take some considerable time, while on TikTok you can gain an audience much more quickly, especially since it's mostly younger people there, right? The average age is more like the Instagram audience, so you can also post your short videos there, while on YouTube you typically upload your main, longer-form content. And in 99.9% of cases, I often see that the number of subscribers on different social platforms is completely different. But on YouTube, yes, you're guaranteed to be able to earn money through YouTube's own monetization, while other networks will just be there to support you. And wherever you feel comfortable communicating with people, wherever you feel comfortable developing, go for it. Create content, that's what matters.
Do you have any predictions or forecasts which niches will grow in 2025 and 2026?
Expertise. So, again, we're saying YouTube is indeed the most incredibly powerful neural network and the primary search engine in the entire world, right? ChatGPT effectively uses YouTube's own intelligent suggestions and then precisely directs people there who are actively searching for something. So if you have truly narrowly focused content that you create for YouTube with genuine quality and considerable skill, you'll be recommended both by ChatGPT and by YouTube itself. It's important to keep that audience engaged. For example, let's say you're a flooring specialist. How do you properly install laminate flooring? Or, for example, some kind of linoleum, right? To truly create great and engaging content, make an eye-catching and compelling thumbnail, and YouTube itself will then recommend you when viewers are actively searching for precisely what you offer. So, how exactly can you make absolutely sure you show up prominently in search results? That's a whole separate topic, and most of the time, this information costs a lot of money in the form of consultations.
So give us 3 key points that people should pay attention to so they can appear in the search.
It is highly advisable to thoroughly discuss your product, your specific item, and share as much comprehensive information as you possibly can. This is crucial for one very simple and significant reason. YouTube, functioning as an advanced neural network, meticulously transcribes every single word and phrase you utter within your video content. And that's why it really doesn't matter what tags or hashtags you decide to use, because most likely, by throwing in hashtags and tags, you might even end up confusing the search engine, if in the actual video itself you're not even talking about the service or about the very thing you want to get across to your viewer. So once again, we come back to the question of how to properly create content, right? So that it can actually keep moving forward. And the picture, that's the second point. And also caring about people, what you actually do for people and how you genuinely interact with them in the comments section. A truly significant number of bloggers often forget to consistently reply to their viewers' comments. Now just imagine this scenario. You're a person sitting comfortably and watching a captivating YouTube video, and you really want to reach out to your favorite blogger, the one you absolutely love, the one you're a devoted fan of. You take the time to write them a thoughtful comment, but the blogger completely ignores you. You, their dedicated and valuable target audience, right? How would you feel about that? But if the blogger actually replies to your comment, you'll be absolutely thrilled and genuinely pleased, right?
Absolutely correct.
Exactly. So what should you do? You just get a team together who sits down and writes all these replies. And if you really want loyalty, you sit down yourself and reply to the comments. By the way, you can really tell when someone is speaking in a video and then what they write afterwards. Obviously, an SMM manager who sits and writes for you will never speak in your language, with your slang. If you, as a blogger, take the time, put in the effort, and spend a couple of hours a day on this, you'll build an audience, and the viewer will be like, wow, a celebrity replied to me. Do you see how cool that is?
Yeah.
We've now come to the very main topic of our important conversation. The significant time and considerable investment that a dedicated blogger really needs to make is essentially the money in the form of valuable time spent diligently creating compelling content, actively interacting with their engaged audience, and generally doing absolutely everything possible to help their channel truly grow and significantly improve.
All right, give a final piece of advice to a podcaster who's launching their YouTube channel today.
Make great, engaging content with truly interesting and the right kind of people. People it's not only fun to talk with, but also from whom you can actually gain some useful knowledge. And at the same time, try to reach out and connect with those who are both interesting and popular figures. That way, you'll be able to get the maximum possible amount of profit, the very result you've been hoping and waiting to achieve from your work.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think we'll definitely record more different content in the future. Once again, if you need consultations on YouTube, then please reach out directly to Misha. And if what you need is to film your own content, then you're always welcome to come to our studio here in Barcelona. We produce podcasts, interviews, on-location shoots as well. In short, reels and pretty much anything else your heart desires. We can film it all, and we'll also figure out exactly how to make it work best in your particular case.
Thank you again for inviting me to the interview, for giving me the opportunity to talk about my truly beloved YouTube and my brainchild in general. But what it is, how to create content. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. And thanks to everyone who watched this interview until the end. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave your comments. And you can also write any question that interests you. And Oksana and I will definitely answer that question.
Only ourselves, indeed. That's it. Great. Wonderful. Thank you.
Спасибо.